20 items.
Okay, we will call to order the regular meeting of the Batavia City Council for Monday, March 16th, 2026. And we will begin by having roll call, please.
Barraza, absent. Lancey?
Here.
Beck, absent. Malay?
Here.
Malone?
Here.
Wolf?
Here.
Solfa?
Here.
Barron? Here. Lehman? Here. Lohman? Here. Pieper?
Here.
Fehrenbach?
Here.
Anderson?
Here.
White?
Here.
12 present, 2 absent, Your Honor.
Very good. We have the necessary quorum to conduct business. And I'd ask you all now to, let me do the invocation and then we'll rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Tonight, as we continue to live in a very challenging world, both in our country and surrounding us in the world, we are ever thankful for the good efforts that we find in Batavia and for the outstanding group of citizens who have stepped forward to serve our city and the various boards, but specifically the City Council, and their willingness to delve into some very intense issues that demand a lot of serious consideration. And we're very fortunate that we have that group of individuals with us on the City Council. Tonight, we ask for just a special blessing on our community and for the ability of the aldermen to understand and to react to issues in a very favorable manner. And we also ask for a special blessing on all those in our community who are under the weather and in need of health care. So we ask for all these blessings. Amen. Alderman LeMay? Mary?
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we've already had the roll call. So we remind anybody that's going to speak to the City Council that the meeting is being recorded, and if you're coming from the audience, we ask that you come up and use the podium and speak into the microphone. Without it, it's going to be very hard for anybody to hear you saying whatever it is you're presenting. Moving to item number 6, items to be removed, added, or changed from tonight's agenda. Do we have anything? Nope. Okay, very good. Okay, moving then to the consent agenda.
We want to do matters from the public first. Number 5.
Oh, sure, excuse me. Matters, do we have anybody in the public that wants to speak to us tonight? Guess not. Oh, Yvonne?
Yvonne Dinwiddie, 1156 Pine Street in Batavia. I have some questions, but I also have some concerns about what have been going on. Number one, I wanted to know, as you all know, I've talked to you about TIFs before, but how many of you have read the 10-year report for TIF 4? And if you haven't read it, why haven't you read it? Because this is our tax dollars. These monies are going to developers, and you should know what's going on with there. I'm in the process of doing an audit of all the TIFs.
Yvonne, could you pull the microphone down a little bit closer to you so we can hear it?
Sure.
Thank you.
I'm in the process of doing an audit of all the TIFs in Kane County. It's going to take me a long time, but I expect to find a whole lot more than I've already found on TIFs. And I am absolutely 100,050% opposed to TIFs, have been for over 40 years, and will continue to be opposed to TIFs because it is a scam on the taxpayers. There is no reason on God's green earth why we should have to ensure the developers make a profit on property that they bought in speculation. If it's not ready to be developed, it doesn't deserve a TIF. Now, that was all of that, but this other part here is very concerning. It's regarding data centers, and as I understand it, Batavia was considering putting a data center in at one point. So I wonder how much you all know about data centers. Did you know that the data centers require 1.2 to 1.8 gigawatts of power to run the data centers? 1.2 to 1.8 gigawatts. 1 megawatt, which is 1/1000th of a gigawatt, is enough to power approximately 225 homes, single-family homes, two large store boxes, or 2 large box stores. The data centers also require 100,000 gallons of water a day. Now, I don't know whether you all are aware of the fact that we've had water restrictions here in Batavia for at least 30 or 40 years. And that the aquifers, the shallow aquifers are in the process of running dry. So we don't have the water to fix these data centers. And then on the 19th of February, in the Daily Herald, I'm going to read just a part of this ordinance for you. It's regarding Butterfield Road, which is down near where the Cyrus One data center is and the new Hollywood Casino. It's ordinance 2512. I believe that's 0102. I'm sorry, this print is so tiny. It's an ordinance prohibiting the use of groundwater as a potable water supply by the installation or use of potable water supply wells or by any other method within a defined area of the Village of North Aurora at 730 Butterfield Road, North Aurora, Illinois, 60542, and surrounding properties. An ordinance prohibiting the use of groundwater as a potable water supply by the installation of use of potable water supply wells or by any other method within a defined area of the Village of North Aurora at 730 Butterfield Road, North Aurora. That's just down the street from my house. Whereas certain properties in the Village of North Aurora, including 730 Butterfield Road, has been used over a period of time for commercial industrial purposes, and whereas because of said use concentration of certain chemical constituents in the groundwater beneath the properties depicted in Exhibit A may exceed the groundwater quality standards for potable resources groundwater as set forth in 35 Illinois Administrative Code 620 or Tier 1 residential remediation objectives as set forth in 35 Illinois Administrative Code 74 and so on. I don't believe I need to read the rest of it. But this is very concerning because this is right down the street from my house. I've dealt in water reclamation for many years. You don't control where the water goes and how it goes. We're out the door of Fermi Lab, and there's already been reports over the last 25 or 30 years about frogs in the water at some of the facilities there having 5 legs or, 3 eyes or what have you. So this is very concerning to me, and it should be concerning to all of you too, because wherever this water is, it doesn't stay just there. And I don't know whether Batavia has done anything to check the water and whatever kind of chemicals they're talking about there. That's it.
If I can address 2 things that you brought up in your little speech. First off, we did approve the building of a data center on the east side over in the industrial park. It's a maximum of 50 megawatts. That's what they could go up to. Won't be built as 50 to start with, but it can grow to 50 megawatts. So that's all the bigger it can be. And it is a closed loop system that does not use water every day to cool the system.
Still has to be drained on a monthly or
Every 2,000 days.
Yeah, every 2,000 or 2,200 days is when it has to be drained and changed, and they are planning on trucking the water in to the facility.
And it's still going to go into our sewer system.
And it will have to meet the standards to be able to be discharged into our sewer system. Just like any other property in the industrial park, it will have to meet the standards that we can accept it.
To let you know where my data came from, there are regulations being considered all over the area for
I
data
totally agree with
centers.
you.
So just-
An
just
evaporative
so you
emission
get that.
system that just pumps water in and evaporates it every day uses a ton of water. Most of the data centers that are proposed that are big, that are getting a lot of problem and a lot of feedback on, are above 1,000 megawatts, which is a lot different than 50.
Well,
A lot
it is a
bigger.
lot different than 50, but if you think about how many are coming into the area and how much collective water it's going to use, that has to enter into all of it too. You know, Aurora has five in the process, and they have a current moratorium. I think it expires in the next couple of weeks or so. But they have a moratorium pending research on the data centers and more information. And a couple of them, Naperville, I think, pulled or reduced the size of the one that they're doing. But if you have 10 or 15 or 20 of them, you know, they're all going to be using power, and that power has to come from all of us collectively. So,
Only
you know,
control
think
what
about
happens
it.
within Batavia's boundaries.
I understand that, but, you know, the water, the power, Commonwealth Edison puts power here in Batavia. They have the switching stations. We have our own power here in Batavia, but still, Commonwealth Edison has some areas in Batavia that they provide the power. So, you know, you can't just look at it as Batavia, because it affects all of us. This whole area, it's going to affect all of us. That's collective power and collective water.
Anybody else?
Also, Ralph Pasquinelli, I just wanted to bring attention, in case it's not brought up, is Abby Beck's mom passed away yesterday. She was a friend of ours. She was born within a day of my son, and it's very sad, and she's not here, I'm sure, for that reason. But it would be nice for us to all remember Polly.
Anybody else? All right. Moving then to the consent agenda.
Okay, Your Honor, the consent agenda reads as follows. Accept and place on file building report January 2026. December 2025 City Council report. 2025 budget transfers and reconciliation. Committee of the Whole minutes, February 26, 2026. Planning Commission minutes, January 21st, 2026, and February 4th, 2026. Historic Preservation Commission minutes, February 9th, 2026. Approvals. Payroll fund totals for 3/13/2026 in the amount of $1,173,459.66. The accounts payable total for March 16th council meeting is in the amount of $1,795,775.83. City Council minutes, February 16th, 2026, and March 2nd, 2026. City Council executive session minutes, January 20th, 2026, for purchase and sale of real estate, March 2nd, 2026, for workmen's compensation. Cow executive session minutes, February 29th, 2026, for purchase of property. Ordinance 2026-12, public urination and defecation. Resolution 2026-33-R, authorization to purchase one 2026 Altech TA 60 bucket truck from Altech Industries, Inc. Ordinance 2026-8, amendments to Title 12, Historic Preservation and City Code. Resolution 2026-32-R, approving the 2026 zoning map. Resolution 2026-35-R, accepting a plat of dedication of part of North Water Street. Ordinance 2026-13, declaring certain property to be surplus and authorizing sale. Resolution 2026-36-R, approving the 3-month extension for a final plat of Main Street Place subdivision. Resolution 2026-34-R, authorizing a 1-year extension of the contract with Midwest Public Safety for body cam and in-car video cloud-based data storage through March 31st, 2027, in the amount of $20,592. Ordinance 2026-11, temporarily pausing TIF for TIF number 7. Your Honor, I move we approve the consent agenda as read.
Motion and second for the approval of the agenda as presented. Any further discussions on it? Clerk, call the roll, please.
Barron.
Aye.
Lehman. Loman. Pieper. Fehrenbach. Anderson. White. Lancy. Malay. Malone. Wolf. Solfa. 12 yes, no, 2 absent.
Consent agenda is approved. Okay, moving down to 8 is the Main Street presentation. Do we have somebody here from Batavia? There she is.
Thanks so much for having me tonight. Here we go. All right, I wanted to start off by reminding everybody that we have our first Step into Spring wine walk this weekend. It is Saturday from 1 to 5. Right now we're at 372 tickets of the 400 tickets sold, and of those, 55% are from non-Batavia residents, so we're really excited to have a new group of people coming into town. We want to congratulate Bocaditos. They were the recipients of the Main Street America and American Express Backing Small Business Grant. That was that would be amazing, a $10,000 grant that they will be using for a new espresso machine, an ice maker, and an oven to expand their breakfast, desserts, and coffee offerings. Just about that grant, this is the 5th business to get a Backing Small Business Grant in Batavia in the last 3 years, which is amazing, bringing $50,000 into our downtown. We had some recent media coverage. The indoor market was featured on NBC on February 20th. It ran 3 times throughout the day, and Sturdy Shelter reported seeing a lot of new customers at the indoor market that weekend, so that's really exciting. And then we also have a segment coming up that will air this Friday about the wine walk. Our recast leaders started. We've had 2 meetings with the cohort, and we're in the exploration phase where we need to come up with a vision for what we want to achieve in the cohort. And our team has kind of come up with the vision to create a vibrant downtown where small and unique businesses succeed, and residents and visitors actively choose to shop, dine, and invest locally. This includes retaining existing businesses, attracting new entrepreneurs, increasing move-in ready spaces for the small businesses. And then we also had to identify some of our key challenges, which would include some confusing processes for permits and grants, limited year-round foot traffic, and vacant spaces that are often too large, costly, or in poor condition for small businesses. And we will continue to update you monthly on this process. And then finally, we re-released our restaurant guide in February. Since then, we just take February to update and kind of refresh our restaurant guide. We had over 1,300 unique scans since February, so we're really, really happy about the interest that continues in that restaurant guide. And that's all I have for today. Any questions for me?
Questions for the Main Street Director?
Thank you for sharing the update on the number of sales for the wine walk. That's really exciting. And the fact that 55% of the people are from outside of Batavia. Did you do some advertising outside to kind of pull those people in?
Yeah, we invested. We also got an Illinois Main Street grant for new marketing initiatives, and one of the things that we decided to do was larger e-blast through Shaw Media. So we hit 20,000 subscribers with that and picked surrounding areas. So that really worked well. And then we also did a lot of press releases for that. So we were really happy with what we've seen come in, because it's just such a great opportunity for people to get into the businesses we have. We have such great retail in downtown, so it's just really nice to have 400 people going through. Anybody else?
Hoping for good weather.
Huh?
Hoping for good weather.
No, we will have good
We
weather.
will have good weather. Maybe great.
Yes, it's going to be great.
Spring.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank
Keep up the
you.
great work. Okay. We are through Main Street. We are going to regular agenda, which is 9.1, ordinance 2026-009, granting a conditional use permit for government offices and facilities use at 812 Main Street. Alderman.
This was discussed at our last COW meeting. It's a conditional use for office and facilities for the school district at 812 Main Street. They own the building just to the east of that at 804 Main Street. And this is a property that they want to continue to stay centralized in that spot in town to be able to have storage and facilities that are support facilities for the district. I don't know if anybody else comments or questions on it, or if there's anybody. Kevin?
Just quickly, and I won't rehash what I said last time, but first, I think we're lucky to have a school board that is prudent enough to try to find ways to consolidate and put things together. I think they made their need very clear, and I think their need's genuine and true. I will remain a no vote on this simply because we do have a vision for that district, and that vision is for commercial and mixed use. Again, I really do think BPS has a strong need, and I think we're lucky to have folks who are trying to find those savings where they can. I just happen to believe that there's better spots for it that don't undermine our particular vision for that area. Last thing I'll say, though, is that since it seems as if this will pass, I do hope the school board hears us and hears me when I ask that they really commit to the beautification. One way we can mitigate what I believe is a detriment to our plan in that area is if that storage space becomes less of a, geez, I'm trying to be diplomatic about it, less of an eyesore, right? That it kind of fits a little better in with our vision and our goals in that area so that the neighboring businesses can grow and thrive.
Anybody else?
Other comments? I'll make the motion that we approve ordinance 2026-009, granting a conditional use permit for government office and facilities use at 812 Main Street.
Motion second. Any further discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Wolf?
Aye.
Solfa? Aye. Barron?
Aye.
Lehman? Aye. Lohman? Aye. Pieper? Aye. Fehrenbach?
No.
Anderson?
Aye.
White?
Aye.
Baraza? Absent. Lancy?
Aye.
Malay?
Aye.
Malone?
No.
10 in favor, 2 opposed, 2 absent.
Motion's approved. Okay, moving to 9.2, ordinance 2026-010, amending Title 6 Motor Vehicles and Traffic of the City of Batavia Code Ordinance regulating e-mobility devices. Who's got this one?
Is it me?
You want to take it, Jen?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I miss where it has like the little abbreviations afterwards. So,
Talking to Max about that after the meeting.
okay. So this is an ordinance that our police chief worked with our active transportation team along with a business owner, updating our ordinance for e-mobility just to put a little bit of more law around and understanding of what is acceptable and not acceptable. It also goes along with what the state, right? With what the state has implemented. It does have a potential for violation with fees associated with it at the discretion of the police department. I guess I butchered that enough.
No, I think that's correct. We're trying to fill some of the gaps that exist currently in state statute for some of those unregulated or undefined devices, while mirroring state statute as closely as possible for the devices that are regulated under that statute. So I think you summed it up perfectly.
So I move that we, anybody have any comments? I'm sorry. Go ahead, Kevin.
Yeah, I just because we maybe have some more folks in the audience and maybe didn't watch last week, I really like this ordinance. I think it threads the needle well of kind of allowing and permitting e-bikes, e-scooters, and other sort of e-devices while also working in some accountability, right? Making sure that folks are operating them safely, appropriately. They're a great benefit to our town, and I think it helps people get around and shop in our shops and get to school and do the things. We also want to make sure people are safe and using them appropriately. So I really like that we've kind of threaded that needle, I think, in an appropriate way. I really like this a lot.
Alderman Lancey?
Yeah, Kevin summed up a lot what I was going to say. I just want to thank the parties involved. I think, there's a classic example where filling those gaps is absolutely necessary. I think, the state is behind the times a little bit on this. These things are absolutely prolific, fun, everywhere. I've ridden the fast ones, the not fast ones. They're all fun, but we definitely need some more regulation around them as, kids are riding around on them, and some of these things are super fast.
Alderman White.
Just one more thing on top, and that's education, education, education. If this goes forward tonight, I think it's critical that we as a city council are out at the farmers market talking about the difference between a 1, a 2, and a 3, and an e-mobility device versus an e-moto, and the active transportation, and also the service officer in the schools as well. Education is critical on this, because there's a lot of gray.
Great. Anybody else? I move that we accept ordinance 2026-10. Go ahead. Yeah. Could you please come up to the mic, please?
I'm glad you brought that up. I brought my 45-year gold pin as a federal employee involved in transportation safety. And engineering is education is the number one thing we always look for. Engineering number 2, and enforcement number 3, as in levels of effectiveness to get the public involved. I have a question and I have a comment. Driving in here, I saw the bike paths. Will e-bikes be able to ride on the bike paths? Oh, good. Because I get past, I'm doing 18 and I got bikes going by me like I'm sitting still. Okay. Second count, I find the ordinance is a lot of reiteration of the state law, plus some of our ordinances, but I find it very long and cumbersome, and I don't know who's going to understand it. So I'm back to education. I would like you saw Yvonne come up here with a cane, and it's the only way she can get around and get out in nature anymore is on her e-bike. I don't know what you can do, but I'd like the committee to think about how we could get some cliff notes or shorter ideas of what's really important for an e-bike owner to know, rather than read that whole ordinance, which I read, which has graphs and charts and all kinds of stuff in it. So that's my only suggestion is education, 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 and simplify. Thank you.
Chief, did you want to?
Yeah, I just wanted to address that. I completely agree with you. Expecting someone to read the entire ordinance and understand everything in there is challenging. We do need to be able to address a lot of different potential situations, which is why there are so many different regulations within the ordinance. But our goal over the coming weeks is to craft very easy to read both diagrams, charts, things like that, that kind of explain where these devices are permitted, what types of devices are permitted, and various regulations related to them that would be most impactful for the citizens to know.
And Chief, would you be able to explain to us some of the public outreach and public cooperation you've had in working on this ordinance? And
so we worked very closely with the Batavia Active Transportation Commission. We've also relied heavily on guidance by Ride Illinois, who is one of the primary advocacy groups for all sorts of mobility and transportation issues. And in the state of Illinois, I know that they are actively working with the state legislature on improving or updating some of their regulations as well. So we've had those different conversations. Moving forward in terms of education, we plan to partner again with Batavia Active Transportation Commission to provide education. And we're gonna also share information through our social media channels on our city website and utilize our connections and network at the school district to try to share information there as well.
yeah, and I think this is a great opportunity to highlight how lucky we are to have our chief of police here and our police officers. I think this is an example of great community outreach, community collaboration in trying to craft an ordinance that both meets the needs of the city and safety, as well as the dealerships. I know you've also worked with Bogie Bikes, our e-bike dealer here in town, as well as the Active Transportation Commission. So I also want to thank you for all the hard work you've done to make sure that this was well crafted, and it looks like you have a great plan moving forward to address the concerns we just heard.
Anybody else? All right. If not, I move that we accept ordinance 2026-10, amending title number 6, Motor Vehicles and Traffic of the City of Batavia Code of Ordinances Regulating E-Mobility Devices.
Second.
Motion and second for the approval of ordinance 2026-010. Any further discussion? Ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Barron. Aye. Lehman. Aye. Lohman.
Aye.
Pieper.
Aye.
Fehrenbach.
Aye.
Anderson.
Aye.
White.
Aye.
Lancy.
Aye.
Malay.
Aye.
Malone.
Aye.
Wolf.
Aye.
Solfa.
Aye.
12 yes, no, 2 absent.
Ordinance is approved. Okay, moving then to 9.3, ordinance 2026-037, authorization to execute a contract with Sunbelt Rentals Perimeter Security for $124,626. Who's got this one?
I'm going to take it. We kind of bypassed Cow, so I just want to give a quick, brief synopsis of this. I believe it was last fall, some of the police met with this vendor to kind of show us some of the safety measures that you can put in place. I don't know if you guys have been to other communities where they put out the barriers to block people from potentially driving through an event. So we want to be prepared and protect all those people that are coming to our events, and looked into this. We put out an RFP. This was the lowest bidder, and they're able to provide us these mobile safety barriers that will come on a trailer. We'll be working with ESDA and to get them set up and taken down and deployed for different events, mainly the farmers market, but we will be able to utilize them out in front for anything that happens in the green space in front of Peg Bond or even the fireworks. So,
Where's the trailer going to be stored at?
Public Works.
Okay. And will this replace the current barriers that are being set up for those events then?
Yes.
Okay.
I would say not necessarily. It depends on the size of the event and whether or not the existing Jersey barricades that we have could still be useful. They still certainly provide a safety benefit. Depending on the size and footprint of the event, they may be necessary. We're going to take a look and see. For events that are of a shorter duration, such as the farmers market, it's not practical on a weekly basis to roll out Jersey barricades, set them up, then take them back down. There's a heavy manpower involvement with that in terms of utilizing a forklift. They're very heavy. They're not very mobile. Whereas these sorts of barricades are a lot more mobile, rapidly deployable, something that is a lot easier to set up in the field and cover a larger area. It is a significantly lighter footprint. So.
Thank you.
Oh, you have some?
Alderman Lancy.
I was just curious, any particular reason we landed on this manufacturer, or was like, did Sunbelt show us a whole bunch of different ones? Was it purely money, or? I'm just curious.
We had Meridian Barricade come out and demonstrate, but they were more than twice
Oh, wow.
the cost.
That's one of them I saw, yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's one I've seen as well. But this does the same thing, and it gets us in the right direction.
And so then are we believing during the farmer's market, this would be sort of fully deployed as the farmer's market's opening up, we deploy it somewhere, then the farmer's market's done, we put it back away? Is that kind of the concept here? Okay, and all right. Are people able to get through this road? I'm looking at a picture of it right now, and it doesn't look very people-friendly either. How are we envisioning humans interacting with this as sort of those large groups are going through the farmer's
It
market?
would divert them more towards the sidewalks where it'd be within the roadway section.
There's also pedestrian pass-through points that can be configured in the setup. So they would be linked, the fence pieces would be linked together with some sort of a chain with a ADA ramp over that so that it's not a tripping hazard.
Okay, thank you.
Questions?
I make a motion that we accept Resolution 2026-37-R, authorization to execute a contract with Sunbelt Rentals Perimeter Security for $124,626.
Motion and second for the approval of Resolution 2026-037. Any further discussion from the council?
I apologize. I had one more question. What was the age expectancy on something like this? Is this something we're going to have to replace every 2 years, or do we expect to get something like 8 to 10 out of this?
I don't have that information in front of me. It's much longer than 2 years. Yeah, especially being housed in a trailer, I would think 8 to 10 would be a very safe estimate, and probably significantly longer than that.
Thank you.
Call the roll.
Barron? Aye. Lehman? Aye. Lohman? Aye. Pieper?
Aye.
Fehrenbach?
Aye.
Anderson? Aye. White?
Aye.
Lancy?
Aye.
Malay?
Aye.
Malone?
Aye.
Wolf?
Aye.
Solfa? 12 yes, no, 2 absent.
Motion's approved. Okay, moving to 10, city council updates, the administrator's report.
Laura unfortunately cannot be here tonight. She's under the weather, so I'm going to go ahead and take this tonight. This morning, a group of us from police, fire, public works, HR, and administration facilitated a small tabletop exercise. This is a part of our ongoing emergency preparedness work to make sure that we're ready for whatever comes our way. I can also say that the River Street Plaza, we had a pre-con meeting last week, and we're expecting to have construction tentatively start on April 13th, and we're hoping to have it completed by June 15th. So hopefully that all goes to schedule, and we're going to have weekly check-in meetings to keep you apprised of that. I also want to mention that on March 19th, there is an ESDA Emergency Preparedness Community event at 6:30 at Station 2. If you were thinking during some of the severe storms, what do I need to know? What should my family know and whatnot? This is a really great opportunity to learn from our experts in Batavia about how to be prepared, how to build things like a little go bag, what sort of things you should do if there's a tornado, a warning, a watch, and all those sorts of other things. So that's at 6:30 on March 19th over at Station 2, and that'll be put on by Batavia ESDA. I also want to shout out the police department and Lori Boderman for working on the Blue Envelope project. That's a really cool initiative that our police department is taking on to make sure that persons on the autism spectrum and other things like that have the ability to kind of hand the police department a blue envelope that may share some of their considerations and whatnot. And I'll let Chief go into that in a little bit if he wants to talk about that more. Phase 1 permit for QT9 project on South Water Street has been issued and construction is underway there. The Historic Preservation Commission approved an approval matrix, which identifies some things that may be able to be a little more administratively processed at the staff level to help make sure things are being moving quickly. And then those will be shared on an HPC agenda when they are done at the staff level. We're welcoming Eric Sunval to the Manager of Electric Operations position, and today was his first day. I hope it went well for him. For City Council, save the date for the Employee Recognition Breakfast on April 9th at Lincoln Inn, where we'll recognize employee milestones and our wonderful staff. Electric Division, Steve Allen and Eric Sunval also held a training at Public Works on March 11th for the ESDA staff were onboarding, so they're aware of electric safety. So should there be a situation where they're called out, they have knowledge about how to be safe around electric lines and whatnot. I also want to let people know that the utility drop box that's currently right out there at some point is going to be moving to that roundabout in the Government Center lot. We're going to put up some signage and make sure people are aware of that. That's just to kind of address some circulation issues and other things within our property. Officers Liz Webb and Austin Robinson participated in the polar plunge. It is still very cold in the river. So we thank them for doing that for Special Olympics. They've been great at that. And our police department has long time had a really good involvement with Special Olympics, their torch run and whatnot. And then I also want to shout out that our police department met with the Illinois Law Enforcement's Training Standards Board, also known as ILETSB, who confirmed that our entire department and all of our officers are fully up to date and compliant with the state of Illinois training requirements, which are extensive. So give a round of applause to our police department for being all up to date on that. Do you want to talk a little bit about the Blue Envelope project and share kind of what we've launched so far? And I think it's a really cool thing that our police department and communications team worked on. So.
Sure. Right now, we've done kind of a soft launch of the program, looking at getting some more public marketing and information out there in the very near future. But this is a great initiative. It was started by the Autism Hero Project, kind of encouraging law enforcement to work with individuals with cognitive difficulties or somebody on the autism spectrum. The way that this is done is through, we provide the driver with a special logoed blue envelope where they would store their necessary documents, insurance, registration, driver's license, those sorts of things. And it's a really quickly, readily observable sign for law enforcement upon approaching or interaction with an individual. Hey, there may be some communication challenges here, and to really approach the situation with patience and empathy and work through it that way. So it's a great initiative. It kind of reduces stress both for law enforcement and for the vehicle occupant, and something that we're really excited to start pushing out very quickly.
Is that something that could be used by other people with disabilities?
Yes.
Okay.
We'll be publishing more information about that soon. I just know we've kind of gotten that underway a little bit, and it's a really good initiative that our police department and communications team have been working on together.
Yeah.
Question for the...
Any idea when the bathroom for the plaza will be delivered?
We have a meeting with them later this week. I know it's further along than we anticipated, so we're still working out kind of when everything quite literally fits in. What I will say about the bathroom is we are expecting it to come on a flatbed and require a very large crane. So we may be filming that and making it so that you can see the giant bathroom drop down like a little claw toy or something like that. But we had a really good pre-con last week, and so trying to fit everything in and where it goes is going to be a bit of a challenge, but we're up for it.
White?
Peace Bridge railings, the new ramp, the railings, do we have a schedule on that or any update on the schedule?
Our Public Works Director.
It's supposed to be 70 Saturday, you know?
It is not going to be done or opened by then. I know that they're dealing with weather. They've been out there. We still have to seal the bridge deck and work on a grand opening. So once we can figure out all the pieces with the railing and then getting that, obviously the weather has to cooperate for us to do that. So as soon as we know more, we will coordinate that and convey that information publicly. But you know, construction, everything changes when we're waiting for Mother Nature.
Thank you. All right, do we have any other business from the council? I have two things I'd like to just comment upon under the mayor's report. First of all, I think you've all gotten a memo that was sent out to you about trying to outline, and this is very difficult, this new bill that the governor of Illinois has proposed, in which basically he's going to take away the zoning abilities of each city in the state of Illinois, and the idea that he will allow for smaller lots and houses that can be built on adjoining pieces of property that somebody may own, and you'll be able to re-subdivide your lot and put a one-bedroom house on it. I've now been, in the last week and a half, I've been to 4 meetings of regional mayors groups, and everybody's howling and screaming about this. So I'm somewhat optimistic. This thing isn't going anyplace real quick, because every city out there is really taken back by the idea that the state of Illinois would come in and assume their zoning responsibilities. It's amazing to me how much interest this thing seems to land in Batavia. I had 3 realtors from out of town show up here the other day and wanted to ask me a couple questions because they were, quote unquote, scouting Batavia for potentially developable side lots, that they could go to the person that owns the house and say, hey, would you like to sell off your side yard or your backyard? And under this new law, you may be able to get the state to rezone that for you and put up a small home. You know, I think we do a pretty good job, the council and the plan commission, and kind of keeping track of what's going on, what's being built, where it's going to be built, how big it's going to be, following our zoning ordinances that are in place. And to come in and kind of totally retrofit the place with all kinds of smaller, newer stuff. I can understand the governor's idea that he's trying to get more people involved in things, but I don't think this is going to work. Some of these conversations I had with a couple of realtors were, they already had been out driving around over on the southeast side of Batavia, and I think they were on every place probably east of JB Nelson School going all the way to Kirk Road. And they were scouting out lots that they could see that may be able to be retrofitted with instead of a 10,000 square foot lot, maybe a 2,000 square foot backyard where you could run a driveway to. I told him, I said, well, if this gets passed, I said, I can tell you you'll probably get some fights from the city council and the plan commission about some of these ideas, because people in Batavia have long enjoyed their investment of their money and their values in a nice home lot. And to have somebody come in and now say, well, we're going to redivide these and put in more housing, I don't think that's going to work here. So I'll be anxious to see how it be. Given the political ambitions of the governor, I'm surprised that he would make this conversation right now, given how much negativity he's going to get from this from probably almost every city in the state. So we'll see, but it's certainly got a lot of people stirred up, and I just want to let everybody know that. The other thing is, as most of you know, I serve as chairman of the Tri-City Ambulance Board, and as most of you know, many years ago when we were served by notice that the then Delnor and the then Community Hospital in Geneva, first they said they didn't want the ambulances based there anymore, and then subsequently, within a couple of years, they both kind of remade themselves and went out of business. And now we have a very nice hospital right up on Randall Road in Geneva, serves all 3 of us, and they do a great job. And that was a step of progress. But the Tri-City Ambulance ended up coming to the cities. And so the fire chiefs agreed at that time that we would put these ambulances in the fire departments. There was initially one in each one of the 3 towns, with the 4th one up in St. Charles as kind of a backup. And they are manned by a private contractor that is hired, and we've had the same one here since it was started, Paramedic Services of Illinois. We currently have 32 employees working for Tri-City Ambulance, and we've given the call volume that we have, we've had to increase the number of ambulances. So now we basically have 6, 2 in each town. And the way the system works, if the ambulances get real busy and we're down to only 1 left, that one changes quarters to the fire station in Geneva on the west side off of Randall Road, which then puts it central to the 3 towns if there's another one needed. But last year, the Batavia Fire Department responded to 5,369 calls, of which over 70% of them were ambulance. And that just gives you an idea of our call volume. I know St. Charles had a little bit higher number, and they had about the same percentage, as did Geneva. So this is a service that we have, and we do bill you if we give you an ambulance ride, because the costs of this are significant. And it's working very well, but I just wanted to share with you the call volumes. And so I was in Chicago at the Chicago Metropolitan Agency for Planning recently, and they were analyzing some of the populations of the cities in the region. And there's a lot of cities in the 200, and I think it's 284 that surround the city of Chicago in the 6-county area. Many of the cities are losing population. They're going down. But there's a few of us that are going up. And Batavia, Geneva, and St. Charles are 3 of the towns that are going up. And Batavia's, our percentages are rolling pretty high. And as I think I've shared with you before, between 2022 and 2026, we will have added about 900 new living units to Batavia. And the one thing that is impacting us, and we're finding this out in the other towns too, is we've taken in now in Batavia 6 senior living communities, and they're great to have. And River Rain up here, I can't say enough for the nice things that I've seen happen there. But they have a demand on us, and it's kind of a quiet demand. They don't play noise or make noise or yell and scream at each other. Everybody's kind of peaceful and calm, but they do need the ambulance with great regularity. And so that's where our call volume really shot up, as did St. Charles was telling me they had the same experience, that their ambulance is going up because of all the senior living communities we have here. So I just wanted to put that all in your ideas in your head as to what's going on here, because Alderman Wolf represents myself on the Tri-City Ambulance Board, and we have 2 aldermen, or in my case, the mayor from each one of the towns. It's a 6-member board, and we generally get along pretty good and get a lot of things decided and whatever. And we meet, every 3 months, I think it is? Yeah. We meet 4 or 5 times a year. And the fire chiefs obviously are the ones that kind of run the show for us. And everybody does a great job, but it is an increasing volume of command in that business. And so we've got the older people here, and they're great to have, and I'm not encouraging us to do anything but try to serve them and do nice things, but that is a demand on us. The boys in Chicago have told me that they're now trying to calculate what's going to be the increase in population in these suburban communities. Now, there's some places where the populations are falling, including the city of Chicago, supposedly. And there's a number of the suburban areas where also the populations are falling, but there's a few pockets. And one of them is the Tri-Cities, Batavia, Geneva, and St. Charles. We're going up, we're not going down. And I guess the fastest growing city in the region is Huntley, right up on the Kane-McHenry County border up at Route 47 and 90. That's got several Del Webb senior communities in it and a bunch of other stuff going on. So they're the fastest growing one at the moment. But we've got a lot of population that they're suggesting that Batavia's population in the 2030 census will be over 30,000 people.
What is the source of funding for the ambulance?
Pardon?
What is the source of funding for the ambulance service?
Well, we charge for every one of the calls, and then we each one of the cities shares a small percentage of that. And, every now and then we get somebody that can't pay their bill or whatever, and we kind of have to work around that. But there's a lot of calls. I mean, we're really popping the calls. So, and as I say, the 32 employees that we have working for us now up there on the ambulance are not city employees. They're working for the contractor that we've hired, and we've just renewed their contract the other day. So we're good to say. You want to add anything?
Yeah, I wanted to add too, and I'm glad you brought that up about the funding. One of the things that is a real bonus to being a consolidated unit between the Tri-Cities is the savings. For Batavia and St. Charles, it's over $1 million a year that we save versus having it in-house. If we had firemen that we paid for the firemen, their pension, all their benefits, we would spend $1 million a year more to have the same staffing levels on the ambulances. Geneva's just under $1 million, and St. Charles is over $1 million.
What's the issue? If it's self-funded and you're charging for the service, is it an issue for taxpayers?
It's a good thing for the city of Batavia that we are part of that and not doing it on our own.
The fact that the mayor is bringing this up, is it an issue for taxpayers? If this is a privately funded situation where it's part of the fire department, and et cetera, but if they're being charged for the service, except for the few who can't pay, okay?
There's a lot that gets written off every year.
The thing is it an issue for taxpayers?
No, I think it's something to be aware of and to know that. That's all I believe the reason he brought that up.
I mean, I would tell you the way we run it is cheaper than if it was done otherwise. Alderman Malay, I know you.
Yeah, I would just like to comment on this. We've talked about this before, and we really don't know. Thanks for bringing that up. You said that there's revenue because we charge fees, and obviously those fees are increasing enormously because we're having over 5,000 calls, 5,369 calls. And you just said that the money, we charge fees, but the cities get a small percentage of that. I understand what you're saying, Alan. How do we know that the profit's being made? Now, I think Tri-City Ambulance is a wise thing that we do. It's the outsourcing of the staff, the ambulance paramedics, outsourcing that. We don't know how much they're making because I've tried to get that and was told that's proprietary. I think we need to look at that. And I would like to have this added to a discussion if someone would join me so we could have further discussion on this.
Tony, we can give you that right off of the budget from Tri-City Ambulance. It's a contract with PSI. It's listed in a dollar amount, and you can divide out how many employees there are. That's the contracted amount. It's real easy to figure out.
I would like to see that. I've been asking for that information for years now. I was told that it was proprietary. So you can tell me how much PSI is getting.
We can tell you how much the contract is that Tri-City Ambulance pays PSI for the services they provide.
All right, I'd like to see that. I've been asking for that, and I was told that is proprietary, and we wouldn't be able to get that. Because it didn't make sense to me when the paramedics that are hired by PSI were being paid more than our starting firefighters and given large bonuses. It just, a big red flag went up, in my opinion, and I have yet to be able to get solid answers that convince me that we should continue outsourcing the most vital service this city provides, and the hour of greatest need of every one of our citizens. The people that show up at the door are not even city's employees. They don't get a pension. They don't get the benefits that the receptionist gets. I think this is a huge issue that's been, and don't get me wrong, Tri-City Ambulance is an excellent thing. It's the outsourcing of the paramedics that we have to take a look at, because I think we might be losing money, to be honest with you.
I don't know. I don't want to get into.
So I would, if someone will join me, I would like to add this for further discussion.
I'll join you for no other reason than when I got elected, my biggest question was, how does a single entity hold on to that contract for 38 or whatever years? That to me needs to be at least examined.
I think the board,
just for transparency purposes,
they've done a good job.
That's fine, but I mean, I work in the public RFP space. Anyone who holds a contract for 38 years, I'm just saying from a pure transparency standpoint, we should look at it and make sure we're all
Out
good.
for bid, I don't know, probably 4 or 5 times since I've been on, for a multi-year contract. So
PSI's revenue is not just what they're getting from the fees from the city.
Tri-City Ambulance bills the fees to the service recipient. Then they collect whatever they collect off of that, depending on how much gets written off, if it's Medicare, Medicaid paid, insurance
Can
paid.
we see how much?
I'll bring you a copy of the budget to the next time. When we bring this up at a cow meeting, I'll bring you a copy of the budget.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just think we're getting a little far afield here, and I think we have multiple other folks who would love to learn more about this and get all the information on the table so we can kind of make an informed decision and have our
So it
debate
was
discussion
important
at
that
that
the
point.
council understand, what the volume of business is for the ambulance service in Batavia these days. It's up there, way up there. And so far, it's being handled professionally. I don't get many people ever call and complain about the fire or the ambulance or the police department. Everybody is quite complimentary, so. Anyway, yeah, we'll continue to discuss it.
The calls are increasing so much.
Got a question. Changing topic slightly. Are we still going to have a cow meeting discussion on the Illinois Build Act? We discussed that previously, and it wasn't on the last week's cow agenda, probably because it was pretty full. But is that still coming up at the next cow?
On the what?
Zoning?
For the Illinois Build Act, yeah.
If there was multiple older people requests, we can put it on the next cow.
What Laura wanted to do was try to get everything condensed into something that she can present. We've all had updates, I think 3 of them that I know of, that were sent out to us, maybe 4, and then any other information that they had available.
And next week, myself, Laura, Alderperson Lohman, and Mayor are going down to Springfield for the Metro West Drive Down. We anticipate we'll probably hear about this bill, amongst other things. So we can kind of, when we come back, we'll report kind of what we found and what we've learned while in Springfield. And so that's coming up next week.
Let's put it as an agenda item on the next meeting after that.
Yes.
Next cow meeting after it.
And next week is the municipal drive down to Springfield to talk about legislation. And the various groups, Mayor's Caucus and the Chicago Metropolitan Agency for Planning and everybody that has the mayors in it says everybody's going. They think it may be the biggest collection of mayors in Springfield, maybe in the history, to get down there and talk about this bill. So it's not being taken lightly by what's going on. So I can tell you more about it after I go through it. Yes.
Yeah, you know what? Just one final note on the bill. So it's. I think it's maybe a simpler conversation than we like to think. I'm just looking at who donated to the politicians who proposed this bill. Their top contributors are the Carpenters Union and then also the Illinois State Realtors. So I mean, it's not surprising.
I also donated to those politicians, so I don't know, Jim. I don't know if that means much. Sorry.
Dustin, you have something else?
I'll just say, though, for that discussion, I've actually received a fair amount of interest from citizens who I think would like to speak on that process. Positive interest, actually. So it'd be good to have that conversation.
If it gets passed, well, I'm sure we'll spend several nights down here trying to figure out ways to work around it, I guess.
No, not necessarily. I've heard a lot of people who are basically in favor of it. Mm-hmm. So there's mixed interest.
Yeah. You can take a piece of property that you have no money that you owe on it, and you can turn around and sell it and put up an 8-unit building on what you had a single-family house on. That's an interesting thing to think about.
That's not the only interest involved.
We've already
a lot of people who want housing
talking about
desperately.
It's going to be a fun cow.
Yeah. I know.
Perhaps we can save this discussion for the dates on the agenda.
All right, I've stirred the crowd enough here tonight.
We need it on it.
I'll move to item number 11, which is the adjournment, because we got
to adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
And now we're